Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Welcome to the newcomers. Thank you so much for being here and creating these beautiful pieces with me. So I've been messing around, of course, as usual, and I've came up with this pattern. One of my clients asked me to have an oblong square centerpiece with some flowers, so I am playing around with it and came up with this one. So I am going to do it in mixed. It's a burgundy. Here on camera it's always a different shade for some reason. Maybe it's the camera lighting, I don't know. And I have this beautiful shine peach, because we have some peach inside of this burgundy, so I'm going to create it with these two. I'll be using this to contour, and then I'll use this for my flowers, and I will be using some, not sure yet which green, but one of the greens for sure, and some pearls. So I'm going to come up with some pearls at the end to see which ones I am going to use. I'm not sure yet, but I'll figure it out. So anyway, this is number 4, 100% cotton thread. This is Portuguese brand, Ladybug, which is Joanina. I am in Europe, so it's easy for me to get all these beautiful colors, you know. Even though we're in shortage here where I am in the island of white, and we're still waiting for the shipment to come in. So number 4, 100% cotton. All of them, most of the time, I work with. I used to work with number 20, which was the smallest you can ever possibly think of. That was years ago. No more. I used to poke my fingers all the time with the smallest needle ever. So I don't do that. I don't do no more bedspreads either, or tablecloths, because it took forever to do it, and I got really fed up. I did so many of them that I really got fed up of it. So I got myself more into table runners, and I wanted to always make it unique and different. So most of the time I create my own. Sometimes I will have people that will send me pictures of certain patterns that they saw somewhere, or a friend send it to them, and they'll send it to me, and they want exactly more or less the same thing. So I will try to create by that, but I always put my input in it, even though somebody else created it. I will add, you know, some of my details into it, so you can have a piece of me. And so that's about it. And as far as the needle, it's needle size 3. So we are going to get started on this beautiful pattern. The only difference I'm going to do here, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it only in one design or make 2 designs. You can go 2, 3, 4, whatever, you know, the largeness you want. So I'm going to take it from there and see how it comes out. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, please don't forget to hit that bell notification. And for the newcomers, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial or these pieces, and you become part of the family and join in and subscribe. Please share, like, comment. It helps us grow the channel. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get started. Oh, and a scissors, of course. Okay, everybody, so I pretty much started doing a chain. I think everybody should know how to do a chain, especially if you're creating pieces. You must know how to do a chain, that's for sure. So I am doing a chain, and I am going to see how big I'm going to go. So I will let you know in a couple of seconds how many chains I did, so you can follow through. Okay, so I did 58 because my thread is so thick, and I have 2. I'm working with 2 number 6s at the same time because there's shortage on number 4, so I don't want it to be too thin. I did this one with number 6 just for a test because I didn't want to waste all of my white, so I tested it out, and this is number 6. So it becomes way much bigger, as you can see. I mean, there's a big difference, right? With number 4 compared to number 6, quite a bit. So I did 58. Now we're going to go back 58 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4 on your 5th one. Now, what's good about this is, actually no, hold on a minute. So I did 58, 59, 60. I'm going to do 60 because I'm going to go back a few. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go back 6 to have that square going for me. I was going to say something and I totally got distracted. But anyway, you can go as long as you want. And the thinner the thread, the yarn, of course, the smaller your pattern will be. So we're going to do 2 separation. We're only going to make squares. So we're going to skip 1, 2 on your 3rd one. Oh, yes, I was going to say, it's always best to have extra, you know, than to be short. Because with extra, you can always take it out from the bottom here. It's not a problem. But if you're short, you have to take down the whole pattern to add more. So we're going to do squares by skipping 2. I'll meet you at the end. So on your 3rd one, right? 1, 2 separation. And we're going to do 1, 2 on your 3rd one. We're going to do our square block, okay? Of course, it's very difficult for me to work with 2, but that's part of life. I'll meet you at the end. So we did all the squares. You're supposed to end up with 19 squares, okay? Like the bottom here. And then we're going to turn our work around. We're going to go up 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go on top of the other one. And we're going to do 8 squares. Okay? So we're going to have 8 squares. I'll meet you at the 8th one. So we've done our 8 squares. And now we're going to do 2 inside of here. Just like that. 1 on top of here. 2 more in here. So we're going to have a total of 11 stitches, regular stitches all together. Two more in here. And 1 on top of the stitch. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I missed a must not calculated properly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So let me just check. I'm right. So it's 10. And we're going to do 8 more squares until the end. So whatever we do on this side, we have to do it on this side. I'll meet you at the end. Lock it in. Go up 3. And I'll meet you on the next row. So we went up 3. We've locked in. We went up 3. 2 more for separation. So that's a total of 5. Always. It's going to be always repeatedly the same thing on the corners here. 1, 2. And we're going to do squares until the middle there. So whatever you're doing on here, this first pattern is what you're going to keep repeating through the other patterns. So this video, hopefully it won't be too big because it's very simple. It's nothing except when we get to the flower parts and add all around and things like that. Okay, so when we're going to get to the last square here, right? So now we are going to add in here on the first square. Let me get you closer up in case. So we're going to do 2 inside of here. And then we're going to go here. And we're going to create 4 regular stitches. So you're supposed to have 7 regular stitch. So you create on the first box 1 on top, 2 in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on top. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you do your 2 separation. And you're going to skip the 2 and you're going to repeat the same thing on this side. So like I said, whatever you're creating on this side, you have to do the same. So now we're doing this on this side and then all of these squares. So we're doing the 4 regular stitch. We're going to do 2 inside and 1 on top of the regular stitch, like that. So we're creating this first little box here. This is where we are. And then we're going to create 2, and then we're going to create 3, and then we're going to create 4. So nothing to it, very simple. It's only squares. It only changes a bit in here. So let's do our squares. Go all the way to the end, lock it up, go up 3, and then do 2 more for separation. So you'll have a total of 5. And then we're going to start doing our squares on the other side. Okay, so we went up 3. We did the square. We're going to continue doing the square until the middle piece, separation of 2. This is a very, very simple, easy pattern, especially for beginners that are just starting the crochet and want to just start with new, with designs and things like that. And, you know, they're just getting the hang of the needle. Well, this is a perfect way to start designing. Okay, so we are going to go in and do 2 inside, 1, 2, 1 on top. Just pull my yarn here because it gets a little hard. And then we're going to do again 1, 2, and on top of this one. So we are going to have 2, 4, 6, 7. We do 2 separation, and we go into the top one here. And then we do 2 inside of the square. So we're going to start making our first block of 4. Like that. Now if you can see it. I'm going to start doing the first block of 4, which is what we have here. Okay. And then we're going to repeat the same thing. So 2 separation. You see your line here. So you know it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on your 4th one. And you do your 7 stitches, right? Whatever you do on one side, you must continue to do on the other. So it can balance out the same design pattern. You don't want it to look crooked. So 2 inside of here. This is horrible working with two threads, but unfortunately I don't have a choice. Okay, so now we're going to repeat the squares on this side. Go up 3, lock it in, go up 3, 2 more for separation, and we're going to start the squares, and we're going to add on to there afterwards. So we went up 3, 2 more separation, total of 5. 1, 2, and make the little squares. So very, very, very simple. It's all about little squares here. The only place you're going to work is right in the center. Whatever you do on this side, you have to do the same thing and the same amount on the other side. Okay, so we're going to, now we're going to add on here because we are extending it. We're going up this way, right? So 2 inside, and then overlap the other stitch. Whoops. So it's 7. You know you're supposed to have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 separation, go into your next one here. 2 inside of the squares. 1 on top. 2 separation. 2 inside. So it's repeatedly again what you just finished doing. On this side, you're going to do it on this. You're going to do 7 stitches. And then your squares until the end. Go lock it in, go up 3, 2 more for separation, so that will be a total of 5 for the next starting row. Oh, see, I didn't do something right here. So now we're doing 1, 2, so I gotta take this down, of course, because I didn't pay attention. I was too busy, blah, 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 right? So now it keeps growing these squares here. So we did 1, now we're doing 2. So we have to do the same thing on this side as we did on this. So 2 separation. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you know it lands right on top of the other one that's just right underneath. And now we do the 7 stitches. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 1, 2 separation, and doing the squares. I'll meet you on the next row, peeps. So we went up, we did the 5 stitch, 3, and then 2 separation, and then the square. Very simple, very no science to this. So 2 more. You know that we're extending here, so we're going to start creating our little 7 stitch. 2 inside. So we have 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2 separation. And now we're going to have 3 groups of 4 here on the blocks. 2, 3, 1, 2, we're doing the little groups of 4. So since we are extending, we're going bigger and bigger, so you know that. So basically I think it's better to show you here. So now we are on the 3 groups, which is here. 1, 2, 3, and then the next group we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and then you go here because you skip 2, and you do your 7 stitches, and then your squares. Lock it in at the end. Go up 3 and 2 more for separation, a total of 5. There it is. So we went up 3, 2 more separations, started my blocks. Now you know you're gonna have to start here because we are expanding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold on a minute. So we have that's right, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I was like getting lost there for a second. On to separation. To our little groups of 4. One, 2. Doing the little blocks there of 4 little groups. So in total, we're gonna have 5 groups of 4. That's when we're gonna start afterwards cutting down from there to narrow it down the square, the triangle, not square. 1, 2. So you always skip 2, you know that. I can see already where I'm gonna put it because I know it goes on top of the bottom one here. So, but it's always good to count because sometimes you know you could miss a stitch and then it's not gonna total up the same way. So we're gonna do our 7 stitches here, and we know automatically that it's gonna take 1 square right after the bottom stitch. So here it is. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Oops, missed out a thread. 1, 2. Then you go on your 3rd one here. And don't tighten too much the corners so it doesn't spaz in too much. Okay. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And don't tighten your stitch here at the beginning either, so you can form a nice little square. That's usually my big problem. I tighten my stitch too much. Okay. So now we're going to do 7 stitches. 1, 2, then you skip 2, and you're going to start building your little groups of 4. that. Oh, sorry. I believe that. I have to do the 7, not starting to build groups. Good that I look back. Okay. So you're going to have your 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now you start to do your little groups. That's what happens when I try to get ahead of the game. One, two. Next block. And then 4. 1, 2 inside. And 1 on top. 1, 2 separation. And 1 on top. 2 inside. And 1 on top. 1, 2 separation. And you go on top, and then 2 inside. Very simple, nothing to it. Piece of cake, especially for beginners. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed one. See, that's what happens when you don't count. Thank God I was counting. I saw 5 and I only had 1 more to go, so that was going to be 6. So I go, no, it's got to be 7. So I missed this one here. 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's always good to count them so you don't miss any of them. Can happen like it just happened to me, even though I've been crocheting forever and ever. I think I was born with needle and thread in my hands. Here it is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have our 5 squares, which is these ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are going to start cutting down. So we ended up with 2 little squares here. Now we have to see there's 3, and then we ended up with 2. Now we have to go up 3, 4, 5. So you always have to go 1 over. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's 3 going up and 2 separation. And then 1, 2. Then we go into the next one. And 1, 2, because now we're going to have 3 squares, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to end up with 3 squares. And now we do our 7 stitch together. Like that. Okay. So now we have, here was 3, here's 2, now there's 3. Now we're going to go up, and then we're going to have 4. So we're going to have 4 over here. So we're going to do our 7 groups. So 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now don't forget, as we're going up here in squares, we're going to cut down the 4. You see, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, and then 2, and then 1. So we end up the same thing as here, so we can have that triangle. Okay, so do your 4 groups, and I'll meet you at the end. So basically we did the 4 groups, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're doing the 7 group because we are doing triangle. We're cutting down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more, 7, and now we're going to do the 3 squares. So because we're going up on squares. 1, 2. And 1, 2. Grab your third one here. And go up. So it's going to look like this. So now we're going in this way, right? We're doing the triangle that way. So now we're going to have 4 groups of, so it's not hard. You can see by here, you know. So now we're going into the 4, then 5, and then 6, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do the 4 group squares. 1, 2. 1, 2. So we have 3 squares. We're going to have to do one more for 4. We're going up. So you know that you're going to skip 2. You're going to the next one. And then now we do the 7 groups of stitches. After you do your 7 group, create 2 separation. You do your little blocks of 4. Okay, so now we had 4 groups here. Now we're supposed to have 3. So now you know you're going to have to do the 7 group stitch. So 5, 6, and 7. And then 2 separation, start your little blocks. So you can create more blocks. 1, 2. And now we're going to create only 2 groups of 4. And we're going to go up 5 squares. Okay, so we've turned around. We went up 5, 3, and then 2 separation. We did the squares, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. We came in, we did our group of 7, and now we're gonna cut down on the groups. Excuse me, a frog in my throat. Okay, so now we're gonna create the groups of 7 because we did our 2 blocks. That's what we needed to do, right? We did 3 on 3 here, and now we do 2. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now automatically I know if I'm right or wrong because they all lined up on the same stitch here. That's one guide to help you know if you're in the right direction or not. That's why a lot of times I don't add my count my stitches, but it's wrong doing. You're supposed to count them just in case you made a mistake on the previous one underneath, you know. So as I say, do as I'm telling you. That's a good one. Or don't do as I do as I'm telling you, something like that. You know, sometimes I have these funny expressions, you know. Okay, so we're going to turn around and create a little blockage, and we are going to go to the 1 only. So we ended up with 1, as you can see, and now we do our 7 stitch. Whoop. 2, 4, 6, 7, 1, 2. Let me check the end. So we went up 5. I'm going to do the next square. It's going to be a few squares. So we have how many squares here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to end up with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and your 7th. And now we're going to do our stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 inside, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2 separation. So we're doing exactly as we first started it, right? So 2 inside, and then we overlap. So we're going to have 7 stitches on this side too, and then squares. So 2, 4, 6, 1 more, 7. Now it's going to be like that. Okay, we end up with 0. Now do your squares. I'll meet you at the top. Okay, so we went up to the top. we did our 5, we did our squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are restarting the first one here as if we're doing all over again. Okay, so we're starting the first one here. So we have we have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need to do 6. So you know that you're going to have to start by here. So 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you start your 7 group. And we're starting to do the triangle all over again. So all you have to do is follow your first one and continue doing all of your triangles as long as you want. You can make this pattern the length you want. The only thing is you got to make sure that you end up with exact square. Now, when you're going to end it, you want to finish it. So you know you have to come back to the beginning and just add these to close it up. Your square. You're not going to leave it open. You're going to close it like the one here. I'll show you at the end once I'm done with mine. So 1, 2. I am going to work on mine. You can work on yours. And at the end, I'll show you how we're going to close it up. Very, very simple, not complicated at all. You can make the length you want. Just make sure, like I said, you need to finish the length on the closing like the beginning. So 1, 2, and we go here. Okay, so we are starting all over again on these. So 2 squares. So all you have to do is look here. When you look in the bottom, then you follow the same thing to make your square. So now we're starting this square up, okay? So basically this is what it is. Make as long as you want. On this one I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 on here. Okay, that's what it looks like. So you make as long as you want. Because this is thicker yarn, I'm probably not going to have 9. I'll see as I go. I'll meet you at the end of mine, continue yours, and we'll be back together. Okay, everybody, so we are on the last row. As you can see, we are left only with 1 square. So we're going to close up. There's 2 more rows with this to close up. So we're going to continue doing the squares until the middle of that 1 square. So 2 separation, and we continue. We're going to get here where almost the square is at, and we're going to do just stitch, so it's basically almost the same thing as we started. We're going to do 2 inside of this square, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to stay like that. If you notice at the beginning of the pattern, we started the same way, so we closed the same way. Now do your squares until the end. So we went up 5 to make that square. Now this row is the last row, which is only squares. We started with squares, we finish with squares. So very simple. Do your squares over every underneath squares. I'll meet you where the other ones here are. So 1, 2, we go on top of the first one. 1, 2, we go where the other one is. So you skip 2. 1, 2, You skip the other two, you go on top of the other. So it's just skipping the twos here, 1, 2, and there you go, like that. And go to the end and cut your yarn. So we finished all the squares, as you can see. You're supposed to end up with 19 squares. The same thing as we started with 19 at the beginning. Now, for a lot of you that are doing curtains, bedspreads, pillows with this pattern, very easy to make. You can go ahead and just stop there and continue making as long as you want and add other pieces to it. For others of you that are going to continue to make this table runner with me, I am going to go to the second part because it's taking too much room already on my cellular. So stay tuned for the second part. I hope you enjoy this. This is a beautiful pattern, as you can see. And of course, I'll be making flowers and so on and so forth. This is a special order. So, and I made the length of this, there's 7 decorations, 7 motives on it. So if you just want to know, okay? I'll see you in the second part, everybody. Thank you so much again for subscribing and being part of this family. Thank you to the newcomers, and if you like, please subscribe, share, comment. Thank you. I'll see you on the second part. Bye-bye, everybody. God bless. Stay safe.